She said it so casually that the officer almost laughed. "The baby is kicking," the little girl murmured, one hand resting on her small stomach as she swung her legs from the edge of the police cruiser seat. Officer Daniel Reyes glanced back through the open door. She couldn't have been older than 6. Thin, dusty pink dress, shoes on the wrong feet. Her brown hair was tangled like she'd slept on concrete. No signs of immediate injury, no crying, no panic, just that strange sentence. "There's no baby, sweetheart," he said gently, kneeling so his eyes met hers. "You're safe now." She frowned at him, confused, almost offended. "But he kicks at night. And when I'm hungry." That was when Reyes felt the chill crawl up his spine. She'd been found alone near a closed bus terminal just before dawn, sitting beside a vending machine, talking to herself. Dispatch thought it was a routine welfare pickup, lost child, possible neglect. No missing child report matched her description. She wouldn't give a last name. Only said her name was Lila. Only said her mommy was sleeping for a long time. Reyes radioed it in, his voice steady despite the unease tightening his chest. Protocol said hospital first, evaluation, social services later. As they drove, Lila hummed softly, pressing her palm against her belly again. "He doesn't like the bumps," she whispered. Reyes turned up the radio, pretending not to hear the word he. At the emergency room, nurses moved efficiently. Blood pressure cuff, temperature, pulse ox. Lila cooperated, smiling politely, wincing only when a nurse pressed too firmly against her abdomen. "That tickles," she said. "He doesn't like that." The triage nurse paused. "Who doesn't?" "The baby." The room went quiet. Dr. Hannah Moore was called in, pediatric 10 years of experience, calm under pressure. She crouched beside the bed, her tone light, practiced. "Hi, Lila, I'm Drive Moore. Can you tell me about this baby?" Lila nodded eagerly. "He lives inside. Mommy said to keep him safe. She said don't tell anyone, but Mommy isn't waking up." The words hit harder than any scream. Dr. Moore examined Lila carefully. Her abdomen was slightly distended, not bloated, not tender, but firm in a way that didn't sit right. No obvious pain, no fever, but when the doctor placed her stethoscope against Lila's belly, she froze. There was movement, not gas, not muscle, movement. Dr. Moore straightened slowly. "Let's do a quick ultrasound, okay?" Lila smiled. "He likes the jelly." The ultrasound room was dim. The monitor flickered to life. Dr. Moore moved the probe gently across Lila's abdomen, expecting, hoping, for anything explainable. What appeared on the screen made her breath stop. It wasn't a fetus. It wasn't anything that should have been there. The image showed a large, irregular mass, encapsulated, moving independently, with rhythmic contractions that mimicked peristalsis but were far too organized. Too deliberate. There were shadows where there shouldn't be shadows. Structures that looked layered. Dr. Moore felt her hands go cold. The tech swallowed hard. "Doctor, should I call radiology now?" "Drive," Moore whispered, then louder, sharper, "and get me surgery on standby." Lila watched the screen happily. "See, he's waving." The radiologist arrived within minutes. Then a surgeon. Then another doctor. The room filled with quiet tension, professionals trying to mask the impossible reality unfolding in grayscale on the monitor. "This isn't a tumor," the surgeon said finally. "And it's not parasitic twins. I've never seen anything like this." Dr. Moore stepped out of the room, hands shaking as she pulled out her phone. This wasn't just medical anymore. This was beyond protocol. She dialed 911. "This is Dr. Hannah Moore at St. Mary's ER, she said, voice low and urgent. "I need immediate assistance. Pediatric patient. Unknown internal organism. Possible criminal involvement." "This is not a drill." Behind her, Lila laughed softly. "He's excited," she said to no one. "He knows we're here." They moved fast after that. Lila was admitted under high security. The hospital locked down her floor. A child psychologist tried to speak with her, but Lila only drew pictures, crayon sketches of a woman lying on the floor, eyes closed, and something dark and round being placed gently inside a small body. "Mommy said he'd keep me company," Lila explained. "So I wouldn't be lonely." Police tracked down the address Lila vaguely described. The apartment was small, decaying, air thick with rot. They found her mother exactly where Lila said she'd be, on the bedroom floor, deceased for weeks. Signs of cult paraphernalia covered the walls. Journals filled with frantic handwriting spoke of the vessel and the keeper child. The mother had been a former lab technician at a private biomedical firm shut down years earlier for illegal experimentation. Whatever was inside Lila, it wasn't natural. Back at the hospital, the kicking intensified. Lila cried out for the first time, clutching her stomach. "He's scared," she sobbed. "Please don't hurt him, doctor." Moore held her hand, fighting tears. "We're going to help you, Lila. I promise." Surgery was the only option. The operating room was silent except for machines. As the incision was made, the monitors spiked wildly. The surgeon stared in disbelief as the mass shifted toward the opening, as if responding. And then, something moved back, actively resisting. "Jesus," someone whispered. They worked carefully, painstakingly. What they removed was placed immediately into a containment unit. It was alive, whatever it was. Not human, not animal, pulsing faintly, reacting to sound. The room exhaled only when Lila's vitals stabilized. Hours later, she woke up in recovery, pale but alive. She looked down at her flat stomach, confusion clouding her face. "He's gone," she whispered. "Doctor." Moore nodded softly. "Yes, but you're safe now." Lila was quiet for a long time. Then she smiled, small, tired, but real. "Can I sleep now?" She slept for nearly a day. Authorities sealed the case. Classified reports, non-disclosure agreements. The organism was transferred to a federal facility. Official records listed Lila's condition as rare abdominal growth. But drive. Moore never forgot the way it moved toward the scalpel. Lila was placed in foster care. Slowly, she learned to be a normal child. Nightmares faded, laughter returned. Sometimes, though, she would pause mid-play, press a hand to her belly, and tilt her head. And when asked what she was doing, she would simply say, "Listening." Title: Little Girl Tells Cop. The Baby is Kicking. At Hospital, Doctor sees ultrasound and calls 911 in panic.